Hello and welcome to another theory video of mine. It's been some length of time since my last one, but here we are. Now, this is actually the first entry to a series I'm doing. What if we get a season 2 of Murder Drones? Now, that what if is quite important because I am not pressuring the developers. This is simply for fun. It's a what if statement. It does not actually have to be true. Although I will say that they have not said yes or no and just leave it at that, which has encouraged me to do this, but still, no pressure. Today we're going to focus on administration. Alright, I'm in the middle of editing and I already realized I forgot to mention something. So the first few entries of this series, they're not going to talk about Season 2 at all. They're just foundation theories so that the actual Season 2 theories aren't like 20 plus minutes long. We want to keep them all below 10 minutes. That, and if I reference another video that happens to be like 20 minutes long, I'm probably referencing one section, and that's just no fun when you go dumpster diving for very little information. Alright, with that being said, let's get back to the video. So, how does the administration of drones work? Well, throughout the series, we see several moments where the drones use their administration. While there are more scenes, the most prominent scenes are at the end of episode 5, near the beginning of episode 7, and near the beginning of episode 8. These scenes more or less tell you how the administration works. Simply put, the administration is a subconscious action. Uzi herself is shown to be unaware of her administration privileges. One such example could be her unawareness of N being caught in Sin's clutches despite taking administrative action against her. Now, a counter-argument for the situation I just described could be that Uzi just assumed that N was being hacked from afar. However, I find this very unlikely as episode 5 shows Sin isn't that far away from her current targets, and that she tends to take a more personal approach the closer she is to someone. This someone being N. Now, that would be the end of this theory if it wasn't for Sin's administration being the exception. I know this because we see Sin using her administration to send text-based messages near the beginning of episode 8. In episode 5, we see her taking over drones and we see the changes she's made to her own body. These actions would suggest that the administration is controlled directly, not indirectly. However, as previously mentioned, Sin is the exception. During the zombie drones tape seen at the start of episode 5, we see that it's very rare for a drone to reboot after being shut down, and even rarer for it to gain a mutation as a result of an improper reboot. I believe the unspoken mutation is that Sin has direct control over her administration, instead of indirect control like everyone else, which would explain why the Solver reached out to her just moments after we saw the tape finish. This also is backed up by the fact that all the Eldritch limbs are made by Sin, as every single one of them is directly controlled by her or was shown in episode 5, which includes Uzi's wings and tail. Now remember, episode 5 was the flashback episode, meaning it happened before everything else. Furthermore, Sin effectively needs to introduce a new ability such as Null before a drone can use them, which in this case was when she possessed Uzi. Furthermore, Uzi wouldn't agree to let Sin possess her, but if she was in a desperate state and her administration was controlled indirectly, then it would stand the reason that her administration would search for a solution, which would include external programs such as Sin herself to rectify Uzi's systems from crashing or overheating. This is further proven when Uzi becomes more strong-headed in episode 8, as Sin attempts to possess her and fails to do so, as Uzi's administration would view Sin as an invading program rather than a solution to the current problem at that point of the story. While it might seem that the cliffhanger ending of the show contradicts this claim, it actually doesn't, as Uzi consumes Sin's core, assimilating it into her own, meaning their privileges would be equal because they share a core. But since Sin has direct control, she steals Uzi's body and reduces Uzi to a projection. That being said, they share a core, so I don't think that Sin can affect Uzi's mind, just her body. Now, there are a lot of possibilities in terms of story, that this idea could lead to, but we're out of time for today. So that concludes this video. The next entry in this theory series of mine will focus on how the solver works. Thanks for watching, and if you don't agree with what I've said, comment down below what you think.